Okay, everybody. Classic Pauper is back. Another run here in the two-man queues. We have lost the die roll. We're going to be on the draw. So, see what our opponent does. They keep their hand. We have a one-lander on the draw with a Chromatic Star for an extra look, Prophetic Prisms to fix, and a removal spell to keep us alive. So I think that's enough to justify keeping the hand. Playing against some sort of Delver deck could be an issue. However, if we can get up to Twin Bolt, that could be quite good for us. We'll have to see. We're in a bit of a bind because of the amount of pressure early that we have to work with in order to try and hit our land drops. So, yeah, we're in a bit of a bind here, undoubtedly. So let's see if we can find that land. Desperately hoping we can. We can't. We're going to try our best here. Probably getting hit with a Sprite, and we're probably losing the game. Yep. So this ended up backfiring. This incredible amount of pressure is going to just absolutely obliterate us. In fact, I'm just going to GG right now. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and play a map, and we'll see if he reveals another card. But we're basically seeing all we need to. So this game was kind of a comedy of errors. I think I had enough reasons to keep the hand, you know, with no information that this was what our opponent is playing. So yeah, that didn't really teach us anything else. I just wanted to see. I'm trying to concede. Trying to see if we get any more info, but not really. Not really. So. Another matchup where I can't see Condescend being all that good. Capsize, to me, has always seemed very expensive against Delver and not necessarily worth using. He's not going to kill a lot of our creatures, so Pulse of Murasa is going to be a bit of a underpowered card. I may leave in one or something. Definitely bringing in our board control. Definitely bringing in Dispel. I am going to bring in at least one Ancient Grudge here. And I would not mind a second, and I would not mind just a Pulse to have around in order to try and gain some life, but I'll get rid of the Flicker too and just play another Ancient Grudge. So our mnemonic walls are pretty bad at that point. So maybe I'll do one wall, one Pulse or something. Let's try that. Yeah, let's try that. I think I like that, actually. We will play first. This hand is better. Not amazing. We even have the Pulse. I think we have to keep it. This hand is not great, and it could easily get smashed by another Delver draw. This hand is a little weak. We do have a Flame Slash, which might be able to save our bacon, but... yeah, some of these hands are just slightly awkward. They're just slightly awkward, and fortunately we don't get too punished here. But on the whole, this deck has just a degree of consistency and basic power level that I think is quite formidable. Now, because we have the Grudge and the Pulse at this point, we can make a strong argument for picking up Shimmering Grotto, which I think we're actually going to do. We have a likelihood of drawing into some red sources, so... and we found a Swiftwater Cliffs anyway. I think I'm still going to play the Grotto and then the Cliffs next turn in case he does turn out a Spire Golem. Okay. Not too afraid of a Ninja because we should be able to stop it with the Flame Slash. However, he may be able to counter it with a Hydro Blast or some such nonsense. Okay. So we'll make this our priority now. What kind of sucks is if he draws a land and leaves up Spire Golem, or draws a land, plays it, plays Spire Golem, leaving up Sprite. That could be bad for us. Just passes. So that makes me want to wait till we get the Dispel to kind of protect our Mole Drifter, and that could be a game changer. We'll have to see. So he's gonna flash. He's gonna not flash in the Sprite, which actually is gonna hurt us because so this is actually cool because we do have the Grudge, and depending how he wants to deal with it, we may be able to resolve the Mole Drifter. The thing that hurts us now, though, is he has Sprite for the Dispel, and almost certainly has Counterspell for the Mole Drifter itself. So that's going to be harmful. So I like this because we now get to resolve Mole Drifter next turn. So I'm just going to flash it back. If he does have an answer, so be it. But he's tapped out, which is a benefit for us. Steal, sabotage his own guy. Alright, we like that. We like that very much. So now we have you with Dispel backup. To protect it from any bounce. Could just play the map here. Yeah, I think it will. It's only bad against bounce. I guess he didn't have a second Steal Sabotage, so there you go. And then if he does bounce, he also needs 2 counters to stop the Mole Drifter from coming back and the Dispel from resolving. Okay, another Golem or something. Yeah, not the best situation. We need to find another Grudge. Or it could be a Snap. That would also be kind of bad. Seagate Oracle on the ground doesn't look like it's going to do so much for us, but... Okay, he's going to attack anyway. I'll opt to kill the Spellstutter Sprite if possible. Maybe he's got mutagenic growth? Nope, just forcing a ninja through. Interesting suicide attack there. And just gonna stay put. So I'll go ahead and start with the Oracle. If he goes for the counter, I'll just Dispel it. So we want an extra blocker for the ninja. Doesn't go for it. We have a second Oracle. I think we want Prism though. That way we can play Prism and sack the map on his end step. Okay. We get full Tron assembly and we'll pass. I'm actually kind of okay with getting that Mole Drifter in the graveyard so that I can pulse it, but we'll see if that's what we want to do. Yeah, if he leaves up only 2 mana, or even only 3, we might be just fine with that. Yeah, I'll try and trade the Mole Drifter for the ninja. Okay. We'll see now at this point. See what his attack looks like. I think we can stop. You know what? He has 3. I'm going to let it go through. He has 3 Fairy Miscreants, or 3 Fairies if he has a Sprite. So he would be able to counter the Pulse with Spellstutter Sprite, and I don't want to see that happen. So now we have to get, I believe, Power Plant. It looks like I'd be correct. Find another map. Let's go with the Research first. Now here we may draw out that Sprite, which would not be great for us. Jeez. And there's nothing we can do about it. So here I'll just play a map. We'll see what happens next. Yeah, not the best position here. This is only game 2. But we do have Tron, and I'm going to get a Radiant Fountain at this point. If we can get him just to tap low enough, I can protect my pulse. So this is only the second Spell Stutter Sprite. Gush. I'm gonna let him gush. Yep. We basically need Electrickery and or Ancient Grudge. Yeah, now we really could use Ancient Grudge. Okay. I'm fine not blocking that. Okay, well in this instance I'm actually going to make the trade because I think it's time to cast Pulse of Murasa, so in order to try and get through here. Going for the equip, sure. Alright, so the Pulse actually may save our butts because it's looking like it's guaranteed to resolve at this point. And I'm even getting the Radiant Fountain, so nice try. So saving that Dispel for so long is going to pay off. We're also going to get a Radiant Fountain just to boost us up even more. Once the lag goes away. Go away, lag. I'll hit Radiant Fountain. Bada bing, bada boom. There's a Mnemonic Wall, so I could get another Pulse. I could also get a Flame Slash, which looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and draw 2 first, because we're going to have enough mana to do all of that. I want to see what I actually find. The Flame Slash is probably the best. Ooh, we got everything here. You just gave me the keys to the whole castle, guys. So I can Grudge for 8, but 7 is a bit safer. 4, 2. Yeah, let's Thunder for 7 to play around Daze. One, 2, 5, 6, 7. I think we can afford to do that. I mean, because why not? We're up back to 20. We have a board position. We have Ancient Grudge. So we have Mnemonic Wall. Sure. Okay, we're in a fairly good spot. We just need to keep our wits about us. We haven't seen a Delver from him yet. I would love to see another Spire Golem. So if he only attacks with that, I will not block. If he attacks with both, then I'll block the unequipped one. Because right now I'm going to have Grudge come down. Almost guaranteed. We even have a Twin Bolt for him. So there's a few things we can do here. This is our only Mnemonic Wall, so I don't actually want to play it yet. I'm going to go for the Ancient Grudge first upon blocks. And then we can fight over that for a time and make a decision. So here I'll go for Ancient Grudge. Because ultimately I want to get back to that, to get to this Mnemonic Wall resolving. Okay, so with the Spell Stutter Sprite, I'm actually going to go for a Twin Bolt play. To upset the balance of this. Maybe he has an answer, maybe he doesn't. Looks like he does. Vapor Snag, okay. It's kind of funny. So he's going to retroactively Twin Bolt, or counter the Twin Bolt rather, which is going to resolve. And then the original Grudge is going to get countered. And now I'm going to recast the Grudge in order to try and kill the Miscreant anyway. At which point I'll cast Mnemonic Wall and do something with that. Be that Rolling Thunder or Compulsive Research. Who's to say? But the point is we've got him tapped out and we have the keys to the castle now. I'm going to draw a card and see what we find in a vacuum here. Okay, so actually I'm going to do this first. I think this is actually kind of better in a sense. And there's basically no way we can lose at this point. I'm going to keep going with this line of reasoning here. Wow, I have to discard 2 cards. Okay, I'll discard Seagate Oracle and Mole Drifter, and I'll get back Pulse of Murasa here. And I think that should win us the game, and I'm fairly comfortable attacking with one of my guys. And I think the game's over, but it's just a point of, does our opponent want to keep pushing forward? Sure. So yeah, we're fairly safe doing this as well. You know, we can fight over it. We can do whatever. I think this is reasonable. Now it might not work, but that's fine. Yep. Cool. So yeah, hard fought game, but we did start to definitively get ourselves in control. I think that's about all we can do. Those grudges were surprisingly good because they ate up a counterspell and sometimes still resolved. So we have to keep a slightly more early game centered hand with red source, early removal if we want to get through this. Preferably have that mountain in hand, but we'll see. I don't think there's any changes to make. Again, Rolling Thunder saving our butts. But you guys got to see the nuance behind that. We tap him out every time we're trying to resolve something critical. And that's sort of the difference. So we're going to have to mulligan this hand. We've been getting some bad opening hands here. So we're going to have to mulligan that. And this one we can keep. It's not amazing. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. There's a few ways this could pan out where we could play that on turn 2 if we want. We do want a third land, so I don't see a huge harm in keeping it, but it is a tapped land, and we have enough color at the moment to not necessarily need that. We could also lead on it at this point, which I think I'll do. Ultimately, we may just play Prophetic Prism or something. We may also bait with Chromatic Star to try and get that Spell Stutter out and then kill it with the Flame Slash. All depends on what we draw. Now, hopefully he taps himself out as well, but we'll see. Just another Miscreant, draws him a card, found a land. And he's going to play a guy. So yeah, we have to cut his aggression short. Depending on what we draw, we might be able to 2-for-1, but we have to use the Flame Slash here. Just to kind of stop him. Slow him down, rather. I'm not going to fully stop him. But so we'll make this play. We'll make this play. We're now ahead on time, which is interesting. Can't imagine this game going 17 minutes for either person, but there's stranger things in the world that occur. So mismatching islands. What a faux pas. I kind of like the art on this. Haven't seen it before, so this must be from Kaladesh. Okay. So I guess the option here is Prophetic Prism or Mole Drifter. I'm going to go Mole Drifter because I don't want to play into Spellstutter Sprite too heavily. I'm not going to crack the star because we do need to resolve a Prism for that to work. He's actually going to cast a counterspell on that. Suit yourself. And he's going to Gush, so he is putting himself a ways back. I'm still not equipping, so he must have a 1-drop creature to play or something. Alright. So I'll go ahead and play this. Could be a Steel Sabotage coming down. Guess not. So now we can crack the star kind of at our leisure. Oh, and we found Tron. Unreal. Alright, I really like our position. I'm going to try and bolt his guy on his upkeep. Because I think that's the thing to do. Oh my goodness. And it looks like we're going to get Mole Drifter if he opts to counter this. So otherwise we can just freely leave up Mystical Teachings. We're definitely cracking star next turn if we have a play to make on our turn. Hydroblast. Okay, so we're going to crack star. It's going to be magnificent. And yeah, I like our position. I mean, the mana disparity is huge. It's very simple. It's kind of like restarting the game with Karn, right? How can you expect to lose a game where you have 8 mana, 9, and your opponent has 2? Now, if somehow I lose this game, I'll end up eating my words, but that would cause a lot of essentially calamitous fallout to somehow intervene here. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and play my land first, just get around Daze that much more. But again, if I can make these plays, 8 mana worth of plays, 11 mana worth of plays, to my opponent's 2, how is he ever going to catch up to me? Particularly when it's turn 5 and I'm at 17 life and he has 1 creature on the board. How is that going to ever work? I'll go ahead and take the block. Again, we could get some insane level of flooding here that occurs, but for now I'll take the block. He doesn't appear to have a follow-up threat. If he taps low enough, if he's tapped out, I can Teachings up, Pulse, play Pulse, and play Mole Drifter again. So, or I could just play Mole Drifter, which also works. So, there's ultimately, I mean, it's just an incredibly difficult road for the opponent to somehow navigate. I'll just leave up Teachings. I don't exactly know what I want to get yet, so probably Pulse, but it remains to be seen. Maybe it's Ancient Grudge if he just plays Spire Golem. Yep, I'll continue to block. Again, this might be his path to victory, somehow drain us of our resources, but just ends the turn. So I'll go for the Teachings. There's a chance it does not resolve. I can get Pulse and then wait till I get a Dispel. I can also Teachings for Teachings, and that will also help me out. So I think I'll do that. I have enough mana to kind of manipulate the situation so that I essentially do not lose no matter what happens. So now I can Teachings for Dispel, Teachings for Pulse, and all kinds of fun stuff. But right now, I typically don't cast Teachings for Teachings on the first go around, but in this case I will because, oh gosh. Yeah, opponent really has nothing he can do here. He's not going to get rid of our prisms at any point. I'm just going to chill. We just drew into too much at this point. There's no going back now. It's fine. There's nothing. Sure. I don't care. So we'll go here first. There's a few things we can do. We can even be a bit strategic about it if we want. So I imagine the first thing to pick up is Ancient Grudge, because we're at least getting one of these guys. So if he wants to counter this first, that's fine. It's going to clear the way for our Mystical Teachings. Vapor Snag. Okay. Now, it doesn't necessarily guarantee the Teachings, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm actually going to pick up another Ancient Grudge. Yeah, we don't have the green anymore. So, I'll go here first. Green. And waiting on the opponent now. I think they have a play that they could possibly make because they did not choose to equip, so they've got something available to them. We still have the teachings available. We actually have so many options that it's one of those things where I don't even take the time that much to consider them all. I just default to kind of experience and what I think is going to be best. Right now, if we can just dissolve all his threats, the rest that will the rest of the logical courses will sort of the rest will fall into place is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why my brain is turning to mush here. Because I need to get some lunch in me or something. But what I think I mean is that he's got 2 cards. One of them is Spire Golem. So if we can remove these Spire Golems, get some Mull Drifters and stuff in play, the game should be over from there. So I'll get out of here if I can. Maybe the way to do that actually was to go with the first Ancient Grudge. Okay. I'll just continue along. Save the Flame Slash for a rainy day. There's no 1-mana answer he could have. I mean, we don't really need the research, but we can resolve it, so I guess there's no real reason not to cast it while we have the chance. Just continue to put ourselves too far ahead. And I'll go land. I'll go here. I'll just keep adding to my... Actually, I think I want to leave up... No, I don't need to leave up double red. I'll just play the Expedition map and leave up all their possibilities. So even though we have been drawing a lot of lands, we still have enough going on that I don't think we can lose. Even if he nukes our graveyard here, we can still grudge the Bone Splitter, which I'm going to attempt to do. And that should basically be the game. Pulse of Murasa, and that was just going to dig him further into the ground. Like I said, when you're playing Tron, I think the best way I can describe it is when things go according to plan, and I've mentioned how consistent this deck is in realizing its plan, that it feels like playing the game after you've activated Karn's ultimate, essentially allowing you to restart the game with a vast advantage because you have extra lands in play, you have extra permanents available to you. Look at that turn 5. I believe I had access to 11 mana, and my opponent had access to 2 mana. It's almost a scientific fact at that point that I'm not going to be beaten, so long as I draw a reasonable number of spells in relation to how many lands I draw, and that my spells actually do something that can move me towards finishing the game or a reasonable conclusion, an expected conclusion. The deck becomes unbeatable at that point. And speaking of unbeatable, I've played maybe 4 or 5 matches outside of what you guys have seen so far, and I have yet to lose with this list. I have yet to lose a match. So I think that's pointing to this deck being extremely good right now, and something worth considering. I know the Twin Bolts seem weird, and maybe some of the numbers and some of the card choices may seem strange, but I started with Fraggle's main deck as is. I don't believe I've changed anything yet, and it's been working out extremely well. So if it's not broke, do not fix it. Guys, we have only 1 installment left of Dime a Dozen. So, until then, I really want to again extend my thanks to all of you for tuning in this far. There's only 1 more to go, so I hope you certainly watch that. But as far as this one goes, I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in to this installment of... That's right, Dime a Dozen.